Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So tonight, let's talk about some crypto projects that are magical. What do I mean by that? Well, you'll see 3 different projects that are in the same space that are doing quite well. I want to cover a little bit more about them, share a little bit more with you guys, and also, of course, give you guys a Bitcoin update. So let's get started. Welcome, 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 guys. I'm jumping right in. I'm going to show you this right away. What is this? I found this interesting because this is just looking at previous drawdowns from previous tops. And you can see on the very right side right here, you're looking at Bitcoin back in 2011 and had a 93% drawdown. 2015 about 84%. 2018 about 84%. And 2022 only 77%. But had Bitcoin reached 100,000, the drawdown would have been 84%. Okay? So, why didn't we reach 100,000? Well, it could have been because the Fed pivoted from stable rates to increasing the rates, right? Starting the rate hikes. That could have been it. The macro environment was getting worse, right? So that could have been the reason why. But overall, drawdowns are very, very similar in nature. Right? And despite the fact that we had FTX collapse and Celsius collapse and Luna collapse and everything else, our drawdown was still not as bad as some of the previous ones. Shows you how strong Bitcoin is. Just to put things into perspective, because a lot of people, I guess every cycle, talk about, how Bitcoin and how it's different now, right? Because we're not in a bullish market. Bitcoin can't possibly recover. It's a different scenario, right? But if you're looking at a drawdown, it's the same as previous, even though Bitcoin was in a bull market overall, right? Ever since 2008, the S&P and NASDAQ and Dow has been in a bull market for 12 years before it started going down. And despite the fact that we're not in a bull market in the US, Bitcoin still did its thing. So just want to kind of show that to you guys right off the bat. And of course, Bitcoin is coming up from its 15,000 bottom. And there are still a lot of indicators like this. Here's one PMO bullish crossover. Just like all the previous drawdowns in 2015, 2018, right? 2022. When you have a large drawdown, then you start flipping above, getting above the low point, getting above the basement, basically, the bottom, well, good things follow. And right now, that's what it looks like. We have recovered upwards, and we have a tremendous upside going into the latter half of this year in 24 and 2025. Looking good. Looking good. All right. So that's the Bitcoin update. I want to jump right into some crypto projects. So I refresh CMC, decide to look at what's hot. Obviously, I know that a lot of people are talking about AI plays, and I just covered them recently, but I'm going to cover a little bit more about them tomorrow. But today I want to cover another niche, another field, and that is the metaverse / NFT / layer 2. And some of these are separate, but some of these projects combine all 3 together. So they're just like one big ecosystem of everything. And some of these have been doing quite well if you've been paying attention, including one that kind of sprung up to the top 100, one that I didn't even really recognize until recently because I noticed it clawed into the top 197. It is called Magic, simply Magic. It's magical because the last 30 days, it went up 300%. 300%. So I wanted to look at this project and what is this all about? What is this project? Well, this is one of those projects that combines all 3 together. Basically, you have a gigantic metaverse, but also this metaverse is not the only one. There's future metaverses being built upon, right? And every metaverse is heavily involved with NFTs. Every gaming item inside a metaverse is an NFT. And there's an NFT marketplace as well. And plus, they are operating on a layer 2. They are operating on Arbitrum and arguably, excuse me, the biggest dApp on top of Arbitrum, which is a layer 2 for Ethereum. So they kind of combine all three together. So quite interesting. So the basics to Magic is you have this metaverse, and basically within it, there's just a ton of games. Now, they're building more and more games, but the premise is, yes, they started with one. They're calling that Bridge World, and that is kind of like the main metaverse, and there's just a lot going on within it. So if you look at, they have about 10 games already, different various type of games, RGPs, and you know, like the little, like, kind of like, it reminds me of, you know, like DeFi Kingdoms, so to speak, right? But they're kind of like RGP games, third-person games, you know, stuff like that. But they are still building out, but they already do have a few games out already, right? But of course, the main premise of this is to keep growing and growing and growing. Not only come up with the games themselves, but also help other dApps come on board and build their own metaverses and build their own games, right? So, a couple interesting things about this project. Social activity is among the highest. You have a lot of meme coins, you have a lot of AI plays, but also you have a lot of gaming plays, and they are one of the top ones by social activity, right? Including the likes of like Axis Infinity and Illuvium, right? These are very popular games out there. Decentraland, also a metaverse out there, right? And then you have like Floki and Kate. These are meme coins. And then you have some like Ape and Veracity and Fetch, right? So they're among the top projects for social activity. A lot of people talking about, probably because they have been going up quite a lot. They do have their own DEX. It's very early. You can only swap between a few different tokens, but they are making sure that they have their own. So all the games within the ecosystem, right, can trade between each other. And they also have a few pools over here, right? Also, they have, you know, their marketplace. They call it a trove. So basically, this is where all the games within, there's a ton of items. They're all NFTs, right? All available for sale. And of course, you could do so. You could buy and sell within their trove marketplace. So they also have this, and you could see all the transactions that's ongoing, right? And some of these are weapons and characters and stuff like that. Also, they recently released Treasure Tag, which is kind of like a gamer tag that's soul-bound. So once you mint this for yourself, right, then it sticks with you forever. That's something that they recently came out with. Another use case for Magic tokens. And Magic tokens overall, if you're wondering, is basically the main token behind all the NFT buying and selling, although you can also use ETH, right? But for example, like the Treasure Tag, and there's other things that they're working on, of course, that you can use. For example, also staking, stuff like that, right? So that's what Magic is in a premise. They are coming up because they're kind of all three, like I said, gaming, NFTs, metaverse, layer 2, so to speak, right? So that's what Magic is all about. I'm going to keep an eye on them more in the future because they kind of popped up, like I said, but they do look quite interesting. All right, so that's number one. The first one is Magic. The number two is ImmutableX, which is, by definition, a layer 2 for Ethereum, right? But they're also in gaming. You take a look. They're a platform for Web 3.0 gaming. Now, ImmutableX made a big deal last year because they partnered up with GameStop with their NFT marketplace. So that kind of like brought some excitement towards them until that whole thing kind of collapsed and no one cares about it anymore. But they do have a few popular games that people have heard of and plays. For example, Gods Unchained, which is a very popular card game, right? Illuvium is also on here, and there's several others on top of ImmutableX. So they are definitely in the gaming and metaverse and NFT space. Now, because they are layer 2, right? They are very, very fast. In fact, they can process 600 times more transactions than Ethereum, which means they can process 9,000 transactions per second for trades and 18,000 per second for transfers, while Ethereum still, to this day, being proof of stake is roughly around 15. Now, some argue it could be a little bit higher, like 50 or something, but still, Ethereum still has problems with a lot of transactions, but someone like ImmutableX, since they are layer 2, they have no problem with it, and they say they're gasless. No fees to make any kind of transactions, which is quite amazing, right? Whales have been stocking up on ImmutableX, according to sentiment. Whale addresses holding between 1 million and 100 million has increased by 58% since November. So obviously there's a lot of people very excited about ImmutableX. And here's a kind of like a glimpse of everything that's within the ecosystem. Not the biggest, but there are a few in here that you guys have heard of before. For example, Luvium, right? Gods Unchained, Rarible, which is an NFT marketplace. VV, a lot of you guys are VV fans, right? Also moved to ImmutableX. And there's several others in here that I haven't heard of, but they have a growing ecosystem as well. So that is ImmutableX. And then lastly, I want to talk about Gala. Gala is something that I've supported and talked about for a long time, and they are basically a gigantic gaming platform into Web 3.0, into NFTs, right? And recently, they decided to get into movies and music, but primarily, they are a gaming platform started by the same guy that started Zynga, the company behind Farmville and Words with Friends and all the other games that they made popular on top of Facebook and mobile, right? Same co-founder, he started Gala Games. Basically, he wants to get into Web 3.0, right? And there's a ton of games already, and some of these are very popular. I know a lot of people that play Townstar, right? Spider Tanks is also something that they recently came out, but they're coming out with a ton of other games. Mirandus is a RGP one that a lot of people is talking about. Superior, it's like a third-person shooter, right? Grid is something they're about to release soon. That's kind of like a Western game. There's a ton of games. They have a partnership with The Walking Dead as well, right? So they have a ton of games in play right now and a lot more coming, right? So those are good things. They already did a preview about Grit, which is that Western game I talked about, right? They also recently bought Ember Entertainment, which is a mobile gaming company with about 15 million mobile users. And they acquired them because basically they want to get involved with mobile. And also Gala does have a partnership with, I forgot the name. It wasn't EA. I think it was Steam. They partner up with a major gaming company as well because they're going to come out with a game that will be within this other gaming store. Oh, shoot. I totally forgot about them. I think it is Steam. But they are definitely growing for sure. Not only in the mobile space, but just in the regular gaming platform space, right? They just want to get their games out, and people don't even know they're playing a Web3 game. Right? And of course, they're still trying to improve upon their Gala tokens, which they recently just updated in Townstar. Townstar used to use a token called Town, but they decided to get rid of that and go with Gala. So they're also creating more uses for the Gala token as well. So that's number 3, Gala. So the 3 magical crypto projects. Number 1 is Magic. Number 2 is ImmutableX. And number 3 is Gala. So keep your eyes on these 3 projects. All right, lastly, I want to end with some crypto news. Now, I see a lot of people spread FUD about this. Okay, I'm not sure why people want to spread FUD about this, as if Binance going down or under is a good thing. No, it'll be absolutely disastrous. But just so you guys know, Binance.com, not Binance.us, is suspending a U.S. dollar transfer this week because they're having problems with the bank that they're using. A lot of banks out there are not crypto friendly. So the bank that Binance is using decided to shut down services. So Binance will be looking for another bank. And CZ has tweeted out that only 0.01 of Binance's monthly active users utilize bank transfers. 0.01. So it's a very small customer base, but they plan on fixing that anyways, okay? And keep in mind, this does not affect Binance.us customers, only Binance.com the international customers. So just want to address that. I'm not so sure why so many people are trying to spread FUD about Binance in the chat, as if Binance is spreading FUD about Binance's collapse is a good thing. No, it's absolutely disastrous. So just want to talk about that. And also, lastly, it does seem like Gemini and Genesis have come to an agreement, sort of, with their dispute, because Gemini Earn was a Gemini or Genesis product, right? And obviously Genesis was under. So basically right now it seems like DCG, the parent company in Genesis, is taking all assets and putting Genesis into a new company called Genesis Holding Company. And that is the one that's bankrupt. So it does not affect DCG. And Gemini themselves are putting in $100 million into this to try to resolve their big hole, right? I don't know how much assets DCG is going to give to this holding company, right, to make everyone whole. So that's the latest, that Gemini is contributing $100 million of their own money. But as for how much DCG is contributing to Genesis, we don't know at this point. But it looks promising. It looks promising, and who knows how much people will get back eventually. All right. That is pretty much it. Overall, Bitcoin is still pretty solid, not moving 22.8. Pretty boring day for Bitcoin, but pretty big movements all around, especially for some of these crypto projects and also for AI, because there's another news about Google. I'll talk more about that tomorrow, but I have been talking a lot about AI. There's a lot of speculation about AI, right? And there's this big battle between Google and Microsoft to see who can have AI supremacy, right? So Google announced something, Microsoft is going to announce something tomorrow. So tomorrow morning we'll have more information on that. All right, let's do some Q&A. All right, let's see here. Jim Cramer effect is coming. All right, let me scroll up here. Dan says I'm quite excited about Gala. They do seem to have a lot of things in the pipeline, which is really good. Scrolling. Luvium is king. I have not heard much about Luvium recently, but they were one of the most promising games people were waiting for, but it's still not out yet. Magic or Gala, I don't know. Magic is still new to me. Just wanted, did a overview for you guys, but I do like Gala quite a lot. But Magic looks like they have promise. Let's see. Keep in mind, a lot of people are talking about bad token economics for a lot of gaming or NFT projects. It's done like that on purpose, because NFT projects need to reserve tokens for NFTs, okay? That's how it works. Basically, one token for one NFT. So a lot of these NFT projects or metaverse projects or gaming projects, they seem like, they only reach a small amount of circulating supply and their max supply is huge. It's because they did it on purpose, just so you guys know. Not to say that they're going to have like a tremendous amount just kind of flow into the space right away. Over time, it will grow, but that's because they're basically holding on the tokens for future NFTs that they have to mint. So just kind of clarify that. Bamboozle says, Spider Tanks is awesome coming from a gamer. It's good to know. I've been meaning to try that out. I know that I saw a couple previews of Spider Tanks before it came out. It looked pretty fun, but that's good to know. Epic Games. Yes, Perry, thank you. Yeah, Gala also has a partnership with Epic Games. I was thinking there's a gaming platform they formed a partnership with, but I couldn't remember it. What do you think about USTC repeg? There was huge FOMO. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. No. There's no need to even talk about it. It's not gonna happen. Why is Binance not allowed in Texas? Because Texas is very, very strict. Very strict. A lot of exchanges are not allowed in Texas. So, Phil, unfortunately, Texas residents and New York residents, I think those two states are the strictest of any states, and a lot of exchanges are not available. I heard that Coinbase has a new revenue stream projected to add $1 billion in revenue. It's for interest income. I bought some a few days ago. I didn't hear about that. I didn't hear. All I know is Coinbase is going to rock. Their stock is going to rock as the crypto market comes up, right? It just makes sense. Their profit is going to go through the roof. New users, new user accounts are going to go through the roof when the entire industry recovers. So if you think about it that way, it's a no-brainer. I have some money in exchanges as USDT. I want part of my money to track Euro and Binance and KuCoin with a weakening dollar. Do I have a choice of coin? No. So you're trying, no, all the stable coins are tracking USD. So you're trying to look at a stablecoin tracking Euro or something? I don't know of any. Before, there was a project that had it, but I don't recall the name, and they were quite small. But all the major ones, USDT, USDC, BUSD, are all tracking the USD. You can always simply just swap to euros. Why still be playing Fortnite? No, my man, because it didn't hit 25,000 by end of January. Hey, 164 people watching on Rumble, but no one chatting besides Ram Rider. Is Cadena still a good buy? Yes, I think so. Cadena is a promising L1. Just need more support, more dApps, more growth, really. A lot of these L1s, right, they kind of stay stagnant for a while until people start noticing how much they have going on, right? Because there's a lot of L1s. It's a lot to keep track. But I think Cadena is one of those projects, as long as they keep going at it, they could get some real traction in the future. Why do you think Tesla is still going up? Kind of like why it went down. I'll cover that more in the morning, but Tesla went down so much, way more than it should have, to almost $100. And now it's coming back up from that $100. It was just way too oversold. It's just quite that simple. And people realize that they're going to have an enormous Q1 because of that price cut and the federal tax deduction. So, yeah. Do you have any small cap AVA plays? Man, you just listed a whole bunch. I mean, most of those are DEXs. DEXs, in my opinion, they're useful, but not a great hold overall. But as for the other small caps within Avalanche, not quite sure. Should the Nets trade Kevin Durant now? I would say yes. Yes. They need to rebuild. There's no point of keeping Kevin Durant. I'm sure Kevin Durant is going to ask for a trade anyways by the end of the year. They need to rebuild with young talent. And keeping an old guy like Kevin Durant is not going to do anything for them that's commanding like $50 million a year. Right? They should trade Kevin Durant to the Lakers. You have LeBron, KD, and AD. That would be unstoppable. Avalanche upside potential with Amazon board. I mean, it's good. Amazon wants to get into NFTs really badly. So, you know, they may just do it on top of Avalanche. That would be huge. It's a pretty decent partnership. Just don't know what Amazon plans on doing yet. Tesla price prediction by Friday market close. I don't know. I opened up a few more calls last Friday and it's doing pretty good today. So far, all my long open calls on Tesla has been fantastic. So I'm just going to keep riding them. And you got more people on Rumble now. Anyways, I asked you to keep your Rumble streams going. I'm not sure I'm going to keep my Rumble streams going. I mean, it's just so hard to grow on Rumble. But maybe. Now it's growing like crazy. I guess they put on a front page or something. Thoughts on CKP Nervous Network? I haven't heard much about them. You know, they had a partnership with Cardano to be their interoperable play, kind of like their... almost like their bridge play, but I haven't heard much about them recently. In case you guys are wondering, those of you guys that are tuning in late, the 3 project covered is Magic, ImmutableX, and Gala. I've always been a big fan of Gala. I think they're going to do really well in the future. But in the meantime, yeah, they're still down quite a lot from their top. ImmutableX is interesting. I never bought the whole hype about, you know, powering the GameStop NFT marketplace. Like, no one cares about GameStop. But they do have a few other interesting games on top of them, and they are layer 2, so that's good. But Magic is the unknown one that kind of popped up out of nowhere. Even though they've been around for a while, Arbitrum is getting popular. Arbitrum is going to come out their token soon, so it may help Magic even more because it's like the biggest dApp on Arbitrum. Can you look at Tap Global? Someone asked me about that before. Why is it not showing up? Is it just Tap? Earn money, trade crypto, spend cash. Okay, it's in a payment space. And they have a partnership with MasterCard, it seems like, even though they don't say it, they just have the logo up. Yeah. Doesn't look too interesting to me. Rebuild around Ben Simmons. Well, he's still considered young. He's still considered young, but I'm not sure that's what the Nets want to do. Nets would, you know, they would be jumping for joy if they can get anyone for Ben Simmons at this point. D Rose in his prime versus Ja Morant. I don't know. D Rose in his prime was just unstoppable. More unstoppable than Ja Morant. But Ja Morant seems like he jumps higher than D Rose. Maybe an inch or two taller too. D Rose was really like 6'2", not 6'4". But D Rose was unstoppable in his prime. So I'm gonna go with D Rose. Planning on buying a Z06 after this is all over. I think I deserve it. Hey, why not? Why not? Jack, I have no idea. I have no idea what ordinals are. The NBA's total fix? Yeah, sometimes it does seem like NBA's fun. Man, what is going on in Rumble? 683 people watching. Yeah, 683 people watching, but like no one talking. There's like 3 people in the chat talking. What's up with you guys, man? It's easier for me to see your chat than on YouTube. Have you seen that service where you pay SaaS to watch movies online instantly? That doesn't sound very legal, so I don't think that's a good idea. I haven't heard of any service that does that. And they're probably tracking your wallet address if you do pay with Bitcoin. So I'd be very careful about that. Paying off my house and buying my first Rolex or Omega. No, don't go with Omega. As much as I like Omegas, they have like almost zero resale value. They don't appreciate like Rolexes. There are better watches than Rolex, for sure. What's that? Richard Mille or AP or whatever, right? But everyone knows of Rolex, and their resale value is insane. So if nothing else, get it for the resale value. Omega is just, they're just not there. We just set a raid on your Rumble page. Well, I do see 800 people there now. B13, I see ya. Have I finished my house? No, but it's getting very exciting. The outside is almost done. Inside is still being worked on. I can't wait until my court is done. Can't wait until my garage is done. I was looking up car lifts today. I'm going to get a two car wide lift. So I'll have 2 cars on top, 2 cars on the bottom, and I'll be able to fit like 7 or 8 cars in my garage. It's going to be exciting. Kuzma, missing piece for Lakers. Well, they had him many years. Kuzma just could not shine with LeBron there. Sometimes players have to shine, you know, or they can shine after getting under from someone's shadow, right? New t-shirt design. I haven't put batteries in the thing for 3 years. That's actually a pretty good t-shirt. I'm not sure how many people will be buying that. Yeah, I don't know if D Rose is a legit 6'3". I think he's a legit 6'2". He just looks short. Like, I remember Westbrook. Westbrook is listed at 6'4", and I always thought Westbrook was tall until he stood next to LeBron. But Westbrook looks like far taller than D Rose. When they're guarding each other, I mean, it's a couple inches apart. Nice. I haven't been on front page of Rumble for months. Get a Oyster, Steel, Rolex, and green. They sell for so much more. Here's a tip for Rolex. Everyone wants the green dial, and there's several of them, but the one I've been looking at is the Daytona pure gold with the green dial. That is one of the most beautiful watches, but it is like still like 70 or 80,000. But the green faces, dials, and then the Tiffany blue, they look gorgeous and they have tremendous resale value. Also, like any of the ones with names like Hulk or Starbucks or Batgirl, Pepsi, what's the other one? Root beer. You know, they're all pretty cool looking. We love having Kyrie here in Dallas. Just wait. 2-3 weeks, you'll start hearing complaints from Luka or Kyrie or both. It's not going to work out. Luka's not going to work out with Kyrie. I don't see. LeBron probably could have kept Kyrie in check, but not Luka. Luka is not going to stand for his shenanigans. Huge upside with Gala. I think so. I think Gala, I mean, they're still like 90% off from their high. So they have a lot of potential. Today, Lido is up tremendously. You have Graph doing this pretty well. Fracture is going up. Not sure why. I have to look into Fractures. They've been doing pretty well, 144%. ImmutableX today, it's doing well. I don't know. Singularity is still doing well because of the Google thing. I'll talk about that in the morning, but I talked about them already. Render is doing pretty well, and a few others. Fetch AI, Magic. We'll see. Tomorrow there's a big Powell speech. A lot of people wondering what he's going to say. I don't think he's going to say anything that he didn't say last week, but tomorrow there is that too. BFTM, BiFi, Escrow, FTM. I'm just going to say no. No. Luka gone. Kyra's leaving too. Dallas F up. I do think Mark Cuban got Kyrie because he's afraid Luka's going to opt out and demand a trade this summer so they could still have Kyrie. But most likely Kyrie will demand a trade out too. So Mark Cuban's going to be screwed this summer. ALI. What is ALI? Oh. Artificial liquid intelligence. I don't know why it needs to be liquid. Wow, it's up 100%. 341 million market cap. Normally, I would just shut this down right away if this was like under 50 million or something, but they're pretty big. 300 million? That can't be right. Character GPT. So basically, they copied ChatGPT and they're pumping. The first multimodal AI system that generates interactive AI characters from description in natural language and short. Character GPT enables text-to-character creation. So they generate a character that starts talking. If this is that good, it would be amazing. But I have a feeling, oh, that one looks kind of weird. She's kind of weird too. Some of these kind of look weird, but maybe. Why did they have to call it GPT? It's the obvious, you know, obvious copy. But whatever. I don't advise anyone to get into something that's up 100%. So if you're interested, don't look into it. They are on Gemini, though. They are on Gemini. Very low volume. Most of it is on Uniswap. Not on Binance. Not on KuCoin. Not on Coinbase. They are on Crypto.com. Okay. Could be interesting if they calm down. Did you see my comment that you were the very first video on Google with brand new account, no search? Really? Wait, what did you search for though? You had to search for something. HKGQ says, yeah, personally, I love the two-tone black bezel with oyster steel and gold band. And it's only 18K in comparison to all steel. You know, I don't like the two-tone. I have a two-tone Daytona too. And it looks good, but I'd rather just be all gold or no gold at all. But if you go all gold, it's just more expensive. They're minimum like $40,000. But if you go just Oyster Steel, they're usually like under 20. So it just, I guess it depends on your preference. I'm a big fan of Daytonas and Submariners, but I'm starting to get into GMT2s. Take a look at Mad Viking Games, Unreal Engine 5. Someone mentioned that before. I'll take a look at it. Not now. We had looked at too many today. Thoughts on MEXC? Yeah, I like them. I started using them because KuCoin started kind of blocking U.S. residents. Not blocking, but limiting. So another exchange that I do use, especially for U.S. citizens, MEXC. So I think they're pretty good. All right, guys. Let's conclude tonight. Bitcoin kind of stagnant. Tomorrow we'll see what happens, but I did mention 3 magical crypto projects in the gaming, Web3, NFT, L2 space. So keep your eyes on them. And also tomorrow, I'll be here 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. So let's talk about everything else that's going to happen tomorrow. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel, and have a good night. Take care. Bye-bye.